G'day to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. It's Thursday morning. I'm on my way to work, on the train, about to get off at Circular Quay railway station. And I'm working with a younger person than I, who's been reading a book lately entitled Essentialism. So I thought I'd take it on board and do a 5am club about this book. The book Essentialism is authored by a fellow called McKeown, and is a very interesting book. You don't come across too many people these days who actually bother to read, but I was really impressed. To find somebody in their late 30s who has the gift of reading and the thirst of learning. And this book here is an absolute cracker. So let's have a go at it. It's a book that was published in 2014, so it's been around a few years. But interestingly enough, I've only just discovered it, but happy to have discovered it in that way. So the author kicks off this book with a very interesting and powerful quote where he says, that if you don't prioritize your life, someone else will end up prioritizing it for you. How beautiful is this? How beautiful, how wonderful, how pretty is this view? Who would have ever thought that you'd be able to get off a train, be in a public space, and have this magnificent view? But it's available to each and every one of us. All you do is just get off the train at Circular Quay, for those who actually catch trains, and you are presented with this masterpiece called Sydney Harbour, called Circular Quay. As you can see, the jacarandas there are starting to hue up with their lavender hue, and before you know it, we will be enjoying late spring, early summer here in Sydney. Anyway, let's kick off and learn a little bit more about this book, because this book is all about getting more by doing less, and it leverages off a Steve Jobs focal point or idea or concept, where he says focus equals the ability to say no, to be discerning and to do the things and spend the time that you have, the valuable time, the limited time you have, on the things that matter most. So let's have a look at the key points to come out of this book. We've got 3 key points. The first formal point is where the author says that by doing nothing and doing everything are both signs of learned helplessness. So people who do nothing and people who just do everything and are people pleasers are both suffering a similar sort of outcome, and it's called learned helplessness, which is a concept that was coined and popularized by an author named Martin Seligman, who authored a book called Learned Optimism. But this condition called learned helplessness was originally observed in a dog experiment where they used electric pulses on dogs, and found that there are certain dogs who wouldn't do anything and just accepted their fate, and just continued by being, annoyed by electrical impulses, because they really believed or thought that there's nothing more that they can do other than just to sit through it and to persevere. So we move on, and we can say that people who accept their fate learn to do nothing. learn to not make choices and just have their life dictated to them without pushing back, without trying to improve it in any way, shape or form. Because what has happened is that they've given up on the power to choose. So the author has a call to action saying that we really need to move from the I have to do something to I choose to do something. And it's a completely different mindset, but a mindset that can help us generate and do a lot more with our lives, and something that we all have the power to do, not just the elites, not just the educated, but each and every person. The author then moves on and talks about the importance of becoming an editor of your own life by incorporating and considering the 90% rule. So what's the 90% rule? The 90% rule, and he uses a metaphor to describe it, an anecdote, where he says that we can all become editors in our lives, and describes a little bit better and clearer for each and every one of us what an editor actually is and how they add value. He said an editor is not a person who adds text or adds to the story. He made a very powerful and profound point saying that an editor is actually a person who is able to remove what is not adding. So remove text, remove verboseness, remove additional words which are not adding to the context or the meaning. But he says that by removing things actually makes things more concise, more crisp, and more meaningful. So each and every one of us are called to look at our to-do lists with regard to importance. So everything you have in your life, everything you do, you need to rank it from 0 to 100, and to only look and to consider going forward the things that score greater than 90%, because everything with less than a 90% score should equal 0 and just not be considered, and you just throw it out and just don't do anything more with it. So just get rid of it is the call to action from this author. So if anything isn't important and is less than a 90%er or better, then just ignore it, get rid of it. Remove it from your life is the key message from this author. You've got to ask yourself, does it get me closer to achieving my number one goals? And the answer's got to be either a hell yes or a no way or a no. If it's not a hell yes, then you don't need to do it. You don't need to consider it. We're not here to be people pleasers. We're here to achieve the goals that we've set in our lives, the things that resonate with our spirit, with our values, and you only get one chance to get there, and every opportunity you miss, every time you look away and do something different, means you're miles away from achieving the things that you need to achieve, and you may never get to do it. Now, I see tennis players like Stefanos Tsitsipas, who was 2 sets up at the French Open against Djokovic, and he ended up losing that 3-2. He may never ever get a chance to play in a semi-final ever again in a major. He may never ever get a chance to play a major again, and that may be the high point of his life, leading 2-0 in a 5-setter at a major and missing out. So make sure that you focus and try and get the things done that you have to do in your life in the time slot you've got available, because that opportunity may never ever come back again. The last point, formal point to come out of this book, is an absolute cracker. It's profound, it's beautiful, and I resonate and I agree with it wholeheartedly, where he says that all the things that you do that are important in your life, that are 90% plus, you need to always add 50% of the time that you think that you need and use it as a buffer. We need to have buffers, and the way we get buffers is by saying no, so that through saying no, we've got more time for things that matter most in our lives. Adding time to account for the unexpected is adding time to our peace of mind, giving oxygen to our dreams, and giving us a chance of getting to the end, getting to the goal without being nobbled and sabotaged along the way. It's important to have a buffer, to give yourself time to breathe. And as an accountant working on many projects over my life, many very, very big and critical projects, it never ceases to amaze me how often people always underestimate how much time is needed to get things done, and how much resource, quality resource, is needed, because there are always going to be problems. There are always going to be things that get in the way. There are always going to be challenges thrown at you that you least expect, and sometimes the universe conspires to challenge you to see how much you really want to get a certain goal achieved, and how much you really want to get to that end point. So I think I'll leave it there. So thank you very much for joining me on this spectacular spring day here in Sydney. We're about to have sunrise. I can see the sun starting to lighten the colour of the clouds over there in the east. And I look forward to coming to you again from a different location with a different message, a message of empowerment, where we can be partners in each other's growth and development and help us get us through the day, through the week, so that we can learn, so we can live, learn and pass it on and be better versions of ourselves. Yasas, take care. And if you get a chance, spread the word about these videos, these vlogs. I've got over 1,100, so I've put a huge effort and love into putting this program forward. It's not often that you have people who can present over 1,000 book summaries with lots of OPE and opportunities to learn and grow. I know that if I was a young student at school, I'd be listening to one of these every single day. But subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell to get alerts as to when I put up a new video. I try and do at least one a day, and some days I might do up to 4 or 5. And I cover different topics. So if there's a topic that resonates with you, then chances are you'll find it on my vlog and video channel, Jim's 5am Club. Take care. I'm about to get back on the train and we'll chat again soon. Bye for now.